Why do they always choose the other? Why is it that despite your best efforts, your kindness, your attention, your patience, you're left in the shadows while someone else takes center stage? There's a hidden force at play, an invisible magnetism that pulls them toward someone else. But what if I told you this force isn't a simple matter of luck, chemistry, or fate? What if the truth was darker, more complex than you could ever imagine? The answer lies beneath the surface, where most men never dare to look. The games women play are not what you think. They are deeper, more intricate, and they are not won by those who follow the obvious path. In the arena of attraction, most men are mere pawns, moving in predictable patterns, thinking they know the rules, while the few who truly understand the game rule the board. You see it every day. Those who appear to have it all, charm, confidence, looks, yet their relationships slip through their fingers like sand. And then there's the man who does everything right, a good listener, thoughtful, steady. But still, she looks past him, drawn to someone who seems to have it all, and yet doesn't. What you fail to see is the deeper play at hand. The desire that women feel is not governed by logic, not dictated by the obvious, but by an unseen force, a spiritual force that twists and bends the rules of human connection. What happens when you cross that line, when you allow yourself to become more than just a momentary attraction? You enter a realm where the stakes are higher, and the consequences, spiritual, emotional, and psychological, can haunt you far longer than you ever imagined. This is where the secret lies. The attraction isn't just a matter of physical appeal. It's a power game, one that few men understand. It's the balance of energies, the ebb and flow of connection. You're not just playing on a physical plane, but on a spiritual one. When you sleep with someone, you're not just sharing a moment of pleasure, you're exchanging your very essence. You're opening yourself to something far deeper, something far more potent. And while most men are simply trying to win the affection of the woman in front of them, those who truly grasp the hidden truths understand that they are engaging in a dance with her soul. A single encounter can change everything, transforming the way she sees you, and more crucially, transforming the way you see yourself. But don't think for a second that this knowledge is easily gained. The men who truly understand these dynamics, who can navigate the invisible currents of attraction, are rare. They are the ones who don't fall into predictable patterns, who don't beg for affection or chase after fleeting moments of attention. They know that the power to attract, to truly connect, lies in understanding the spiritual laws of desire, laws that, once known, reveal everything. Yet, even with this knowledge, the consequences are not without their weight. The closer you get to the truth, the harder it becomes to walk away untouched. What you are about to discover will force you to confront a side of yourself you've hidden away. The question now is, are you ready to face the truth? What if everything you believed about women, about attraction, about relationships, what if it was all a lie? What if the truth is something darker, deeper, and far more powerful than you've ever been willing to admit? Imagine this. You're not just chasing affection. No, you're chasing something far more elusive, a secret that women guard more fiercely than their own hearts. They may smile at you, speak gently to you, but beneath that smile there lies an unspoken truth. They are not drawn to you for the reasons you think. Their attraction doesn't come from your strength, your kindness, your confidence. It comes from something much older, something primal, something invisible. It's an energy that pulls them in, and when they feel it, you, who could be standing right in front of them, yet they still choose someone else. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange magnetism, that irresistible force that pulls them away from you, even when you're doing everything right. It's as if there's a silent game being played, and you're just a pawn on a board you don't understand. The others, the ones who draw her in, they're not playing the game at all. They've mastered it. They don't move in predictable ways. They don't beg for attention, they don't chase approval, and they don't seek validation in the obvious places. They understand a deeper truth. Attraction isn't about what you do for her. It's about what she feels when she's near you. And what she feels is something you'll never know unless you step outside the limits of what you've been taught. But here's the catch. You are already playing. You've been playing all along, whether you knew it or not. You've been making moves on a board designed by forces far more powerful than you can comprehend, and you've been losing over and over again. What if I told you that every time you sought validation, every time you molded yourself to what you thought she wanted, you were playing right into her hands? The worst part? She knows it. She sees it, sees you, like a figure in a painting. But that's all you are to her, a portrait, a shape that she can admire but never touch. You exist on the periphery of her desires, never quite close enough to reach her true self, the self she never lets anyone see. The truth is, you don't understand her attraction because you don't understand the game. You've been taught to chase after the surface, to play the part of the good guy, to follow the script that everyone tells you to follow. But the men who win, the ones she can't resist, aren't playing by the same rules. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg for validation. They embody something far rarer. And what they embody is a secret that no one dares to expose. Until now, you can feel it, can't you? The ache in your chest, the frustration gnawing at the back of your mind. Every time you try to be the right man, the one she could settle with, the one who's always there, she slips further away. It's as though the more you give, the less you get in return. She plays her part, smiles when you're near, but inside there's something else, something you'll never see, something hidden behind her eyes. She's not simply ignoring you, she's pulling away from you. The harder you chase, the further she retreats. It's a paradox that burns within you. Why does this happen? Why is your best effort never enough? The answer lies in something you can't see, something that operates in the shadows. The attraction between you and her isn't about you. Not really. It's not about your words, your gestures, your nice guy acts of kindness. It's about power. It's about energy. You're not just in a relationship with her. You're in a battle, a contest of forces, and you're playing a losing hand. You think she's choosing him because he's more attractive, more successful, or more charismatic. But the truth is much darker than that. The truth is, she's choosing him because he has what you don't: control, not just of his life, but of the emotions that bind her to him. You've seen it, haven't you? That magnetic pull she feels towards someone who doesn't need her, someone who isn't trying to win her. It's as if he's a force of nature, something that both attracts and repels. He's the rare diamond she can't ignore. But you're too predictable, too available, too safe. You've been taught to seek approval, to earn affection, to mold yourself into what she wants. But in doing so, you've given up the most powerful weapon you could possess, the ability to make her feel something she can't explain, something beyond her control. It's a dangerous game, and you've been playing by the wrong rules. You've been making the moves everyone expects of you, without understanding that the true players, those who can master the unseen forces, don't follow the script. They rewrite it. And here's where the real shock lies. Everything you've been taught is wrong. The very things you believe will make you more desirable, more worthy of her attention, are the very things that are pushing her away. It's like trying to hold on to a shadow. No matter how tightly you grip, it slips through your fingers. You thought you were giving her what she wanted, but in reality, you were giving her what she could easily find in anyone else. She wasn't attracted to what you gave her, but to what you withheld, the very thing you've been too afraid to show, the mystery of who you are, the power you've hidden beneath layers of effort. You've been playing a game of scarcity, but scarcity isn't attractive, power is. What if the secret to her heart isn't found in your actions, but in what you don't do? What if the key to her attraction lies not in being the perfect man, but in being the one she can never quite figure out? What if the real game is one of distance, of not being too available, of not needing her to validate your worth? The men who understand this, they don't play by the rules, they create their own. and every time you bend to her will, you give up a piece of the power you could wield. And now the real question starts to emerge. What happens when you finally see the truth? When the veil is pulled back and you realize that everything you've been chasing, everything you've believed was just a smokescreen, a distraction. What happens when you accept that she wasn't drawn to you because you're good enough, but because of something much more dangerous, something you can barely comprehend? You're faced with the collapse of everything you thought was real. The contradiction begins to burn its way through your psyche. The more you try to be what she wants, the further you push her away. And yet, when you step back, when you pull away just a little, when you stop trying to be everything for her, that's when you feel it. The shift in the energy between you. The moment of rupture is inevitable. The man who tries too hard, who overextends himself in the name of love, will always lose. Not because he doesn't care, not because he's incapable, but because his care, his need to be needed, is his undoing. There's a deeper truth buried beneath the surface. Women are not moved by need. They are moved by what isn't said, by what isn't offered. The key to attraction lies not in giving everything, but in withholding. It lies in the tension of the unspoken, in the pull and release of desire that is never fully satisfied. This is the dangerous game, the game of power, the game that only those who truly understand the unseen forces of attraction can play. You see, she isn't waiting for the man who will provide her every need. She's waiting for the man who doesn't need her at all. Because when you don't need something, when you aren't desperate for it, you have the power to choose. You don't simply offer. You create the conditions in which she must reach out to you, chase you. That's the trick, the paradox. You've been playing a game where the prize was always just out of reach because you were too willing to give it away. What if the prize is never yours to give? What if instead the power lies in making her want it, making her desire it, without being able to fully grasp it? This is where the fracture happens. The moment you realize that you've been chasing after the wrong thing, you're left with an emptiness, a silence where all the familiar patterns used to be. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting. You've lived your whole life believing that love and attraction are about sacrifice, about giving everything, about losing yourself in someone else. But what if the truth was something far colder? What if the key to her heart was never about how much you're willing to sacrifice, but about how much you're willing to keep for yourself? That shift, the realization that love isn't a transaction but a dance of power, will tear through you, and you won't be the same after it. There's a crack in your reality now, a chasm that won't close. You can feel it. The shift, the weight of the truth settling in your bones. And in that moment you realize you can never go back. The game has changed, the rules have shifted, and you are no longer just a player. You are becoming something far more dangerous. You're learning to attract, not by giving, but by keeping. Not by pursuing, but by standing firm in your own power. And as this realization seeps into you, there's no turning back. You've crossed a threshold, and what awaits you on the other side isn't just a new way of seeing her. It's a new way of seeing yourself. But don't get comfortable. The hardest part is yet to come, and now you stand at the edge, feeling the tremors of what you've uncovered, yet there's still a part of you that hesitates, doesn't it? There's a gnawing uncertainty deep within, an internal battle between what you know and what you're afraid to embrace. You've stepped into a world of contradictions, where the very things you once believed would make you desirable are now the very things keeping you trapped in an illusion. You've learned that power is not in pursuit, but in the art of withholding, of creating space. And yet there's something almost terrifying about this realization. You've begun to see how women move, how they operate beneath the surface. But there's a lingering question. How do you wield this power without losing yourself, without becoming something you fear? What if the truth is even darker than you've imagined? What if attraction, desire, isn't just a game of power, but a constant battle for dominance and submission, a game where the stakes aren't just about winning her affection, but about keeping your very soul intact? You've seen it now, haven't you? The men who seem to have it all aren't playing a game of connection, they're playing a game of control. And in this game, everything is up for grabs. Your emotions, your sense of self-worth, your identity, they are all vulnerable to her choices. She's not just choosing him because of his confidence. She's choosing him because he knows how to manage her emotions, how to control the invisible forces that draw her in. And that's where the trap lies. When you start to understand these dynamics, you must ask yourself, how much are you willing to risk to master them? You thought you could learn the rules, but now you realize that understanding the game is only part of it. The true mastery, the true power, lies in how you use that knowledge. Will you bend under the weight of it, or will you rise, becoming the master of the unseen forces that control your attraction? The stakes are higher than ever. There's no turning back. To play this game means to step into the abyss, where everything you've known about relationships, attraction, and connection will be shattered. It's not just about winning her heart anymore. It's about maintaining your power, about mastering the unseen game that shapes your every interaction with her. And in that mastery, you will discover the greatest paradox of all. True power lies not in the control you exert over her, but in the control you learn to exert over yourself. You've reached the edge of the unknown, the place where most men falter, where they cling to the security of old beliefs, to the comforting illusion of certainty. But you've crossed into new territory. You've realized that what she seeks is not a man who will chase her, but a man who understands the game at its deepest level. But here's the catch. This understanding comes with a price. Once you know the rules, once you step into this world, you can never go back to who you were. The knowledge will haunt you, will shape every encounter you have. You will see through every facade, every mask, every game she plays. And with that, you'll be left with a choice. Do you embrace the darkness, the power, the control? Or do you retreat, forever caught in the cycle of chasing something that can never be fully grasped? There's a silence now, a stillness in the air, as you stand at the precipice. What awaits you is both a terrifying freedom and a burden that few have ever dared to carry. You've stepped into a world where the rules no longer apply, where the truth is far more elusive than you imagined, but it is there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to be claimed. The question now is, are you ready to step further into the abyss? Or will you remain forever at the edge, never knowing what lies just beyond? It's undeniable now. The truth has seeped into your bones, wrapping itself around your mind like a shadow that never quite leaves. You felt the crack in your reality deepen, pulling you into a space where what you once believed about love, attraction, and connection no longer holds up. The world you've known, the world of chasing affection, of seeking approval, of playing the role of the good man, has crumbled before your eyes, and in its place, something far more dangerous has emerged. But now, you stand on the precipice of a revelation, a truth so forbidden, so powerful, that most men will never dare to look it in the face. You've discovered that attraction isn't about the things you give, it's about what you withhold. It's about the power of mystery, of being the enigma that she can never quite solve. But here's the truth that most will never tell you. The deepest, most sacred part of this power is not simply in the act of withholding, but in the act of releasing. To truly master the game, you must learn to release your need for validation, to stop chasing what you think you want, and to let her come to you. Only then, when you step back and stop clinging to her affection, will you finally see her for what she truly is, a reflection of your own deepest fears and desires. It's in that moment, that breath between what was and what is, that you realize the power was never hers to give. It was always yours. You were never just trying to win her heart. No, you were trying to win back the parts of yourself you lost in the pursuit. Every rejection, every misstep, every moment you thought you were too much or not enough, those were all pieces of yourself that you abandoned. You handed them to her, hoping she would make you whole again, but she can't. No one can. The truth is that the game isn't about winning her, it's about winning yourself. And now you're faced with the choice that all men must eventually confront. Do you continue down the path of desperation, of constant seeking, of playing by the old rules? Or do you step into the abyss, fully understanding that to play this game, you must no longer need to win, to no longer chase, to no longer beg, to stand firm in your own strength, your own worth, and become the kind of man who doesn't need her to feel whole? When you can stand in that space, where your power no longer depends on her presence, that's when you'll understand the true secret of attraction. It was never about what she wanted from you. It was about what you were willing to keep from her. You've crossed a line now, a threshold that few will ever dare to cross. The truth has been exposed, but it's not a truth that brings comfort. It's a truth that leaves you standing alone in a place where the rules no longer make sense. But what you'll soon understand is that in this space, in this darkness, you're no longer playing the game. You are the game, the man who understands. This is the man who no longer seeks approval, no longer chases affection, no longer plays the part of the nice guy. He is the man who stands in his own power, in his own silence, in the midst of her chaos, and remains untouched. What you do with this knowledge, with this power, is up to you. But know this, once you've seen the truth, once you've felt the weight of it, there is no going back. The game is yours to control now. The question is, are you ready to claim it? And now, as the echoes of what you've uncovered begin to resonate in the stillness, a quiet truth settles in the depths of your mind, like a diamond buried deep in the earth. You can't unsee it, can you? The game was never about what you gave. It was never about winning her heart with kindness or clever words. No, the game was about power, about what you withhold, what you keep for yourself. She was never drawn to your actions. She was drawn to your absence. In the silence you created, in the space between your words, your desires, she found the pull she couldn't explain. And perhaps, for the first time, you begin to wonder, what if everything she's ever said to you was just a reflection of what she wanted to say but couldn't? What if, behind her gaze, you've always been looking into a mirror, one that shows you not who you are, but who you could be? Every step you took, every mistake you made, every small victory, each one was a lesson, a piece of the puzzle that was always there, quietly waiting for you to see it. You stand now at the edge, but this edge isn't the end. No, it's the beginning of something far greater than anything you've ever dared to imagine. This knowledge, the one you've just begun to taste, will continue to haunt you like a song that plays on repeat in your mind. You'll hear it in every interaction, in every glance, in every word left unsaid. The game is no longer something she plays, it's something you feel. And the more you understand, the more you'll realize that the power was never external. It was always within you. All this time, you were the one you've been waiting for. What if the truth you've always sought was never hidden in her actions or in her words, but in your own heart? What if, all along, you were the key to the mystery? You're now a man who understands the invisible forces at play, but that doesn't mean the journey ends here. No, it's just the beginning of a deeper understanding, a shift that will echo through your every interaction. It's not about learning to read her. It's about learning to read you, the way you respond, the way you give, and more importantly, the way you hold back. You've always been at the center of this game, but now you can choose the moves you make. You're no longer bound by old patterns. You've unlocked a door, and what lies beyond it is a truth so powerful it will transform everything you've ever believed about yourself, about her, and about desire. As you stand here, in the aftermath of revelation, you might feel the weight of what you now know. It might feel heavy, like a new skin you've just begun to grow into. But know this, the power, the control, the game, it's all yours now. And with it, you hold the key to something greater than mere attraction. You hold the key to your own transformation. This isn't just about winning her over. It's about claiming the truth of who you are. What if this truth was always there, hidden behind the veil of doubt? The question now isn't whether you'll change, but how you will choose to wield the power you've uncovered. So as you continue down this path, let the mystery continue to guide you. Don't just stop here. Don't just walk away. The journey is only beginning, and the deeper you go, the more you'll realize the power was never out there. It was always inside you, waiting to be discovered. If this truth resonated with you, if it stirred something within, don't let it fade into the background. Follow it, explore it, and perhaps, just perhaps, you'll begin to see the game differently. You've started down a path that most men will never even notice, but you have the opportunity to walk it, to live it. Embrace it, and for now, let the echoes of what you've learned guide you forward. You've always been the game. Now, it's time to play.